The only essential nutrient that doesn't come from plants is vitamin B12, but it doesn't come from meat naturally either. You can't get your B12 from meat naturally either. So B12 is produced from a bacteria in the ground, which animals get it when they're grazing and they're eating, and then that B12's in their body, and then obviously if you're eating meat, you'll get the B12. But the trouble is we now heavily spray our crops with pesticides, which kills the bacteria in the soil. We also sanitize our water, which actually kills the bacteria in the water that's responsible for producing B12. So our soils need cobalt in order to allow these bacteria to make B12. And our soils are so deficient in cobalt now that the cows aren't getting their B12 anymore either. And so something like 80% of all the world's B12 supplements actually go to animals. Wow. And so whether you're getting your B12 through a supplement or you're actually getting it through meat, if you trace it back to the source, you're still getting it from a supplement.
Hey guys, we're back with our final episode, episode 7, and we're going to talk about the 4 essential nutrients that we may need to get from another source. All right, Dr. Andrew, let's get into it.
Take it away.
Take it away.
So when I first started going on a plant-based diet, I was told you need all these different nutrients. You need selenium, B12, calcium, iron, everything that we've talked about, and we can keep going even further. And I originally started off thinking, I need to take this supplement, I need to take that supplement. And one of the biggest things that I didn't like was I was like, why do I need to take this synthetic supplement? Why do I need to take a multivitamin, when I think this diet is the most natural and the healthiest way of living? So it didn't make any sense to me. So, and it comes back to what we said a few series ago, is that we've complicated everything. And we think as humans, we need every single little bit of nutrient, we need all this sort of stuff. Like I said before, all you need to do is eat food. The only essential nutrient that doesn't come from plants is vitamin B12, but it doesn't come from meat naturally either. You can't get your B12 from meat naturally either. So B12 is produced from a bacteria in the ground, which animals get it when they're grazing and they're eating, and then that B12's in their body, and then obviously if you're eating meat, you'll get the B12. But our soils need cobalt in order to allow these bacteria to make B12. And our soils are so deficient in cobalt now so this is why they call it cobalamin. So vitamin B12's other name is cobalamin. So it needs cobalt to synthesize it, but our soils are so deficient that the cows aren't getting their B12 anymore either. And so something like 80% of all the world's B12 supplements actually go to animals. Wow. And so whether you're getting your B12 through a supplement or you're actually getting it through meat, if you trace it back to the source, you're still getting it from a supplement. And that's the point. So B12 is the only thing that you cannot get from plants, but like I said, you cannot get it naturally from animals either.
Would this be, sorry to cut you on that, would B12 be something that our ancestors would have got naturally though?
Oh, definitely. So if you were following a plant-based diet, where would you have got B12 from? So it grows in the ground, it's formed in the ground from bacteria. So every time you dug up like a carrot or a potato or something like that, you would have eaten a little bit of that carrot, or you would have eaten the potato, you would have had a little bit of dirt and things like that. You would have got plenty of B12 that way. When it rained, it also would have washed some of the soil into the fresh water streams where it would drink from. So you would have been drinking the bacteria that contains those B12 from the water stream. The trouble is we now heavily spray our crops with pesticides, which kills the bacteria in the soil. We also sanitize our water, which actually kills the bacteria in the water that's responsible for producing B12. So it's not a question of what diet you follow. It's a question of modern farming practices and modern sanitization practices. So that's B12. So the other 3 that you would need to be concerned about, first of all, would be iodine. So iodine comes from our soils as well, and it's found in a lot of our foods, but because of overproduction of food, our soils are becoming increasingly deficient in iodine as well.
Same thing again.
Yeah, so the best source of iodines comes from the dark green leafies of the sea, so sea kelps and things like that. But you've got to be careful with the concentrations and these sorts of things. So we can talk about that another day, iodine and things like that. But the third nutrient that you need to be careful about is your omega-3s. So So this is a very hot topic, and we'll need a whole episode to talk about this.
Which we will do.
But the short story is you can get all the omegas you need from plants. So flaxseed contain all the ALA you need.
Yep.
The body can take that ALA and convert it to longer chain DHA and EPA, and that's been shown to be absolutely fine. The research backs that up.
Okay.
The fourth and final nutrient you need to be careful about is vitamin D. Now, we have naturally evolved to produce vitamin D in our bodies through sunlight reacting with our skin.
Yep.
But like you and me, we don't run around naked anymore.
Yep.
We're in clothes, so we're not actually getting adequate exposure to sunlight that we normally would. And hence about 58% of Australians have low levels of vitamin D.
58% of Australians.
So that was from one of the latest nutrition studies that I read.
Amazing.
And I can show you the reference for that.
Yep.
But it's very interesting. So, you know, we're covered up. We spend all our day indoors. You know, we're sitting in the shade at the moment when, you know, we should at least get about, you know, adequate exposure to sunlight. But we're obviously worried about skin cancer, things like that. And believe it or not, Queensland, the Sunshine State, has the lowest rates of vitamin D. So
really,
yeah, because we cover up a lot more here.
Of course, because we're trying to protect the sun.
So these are the 4 essential nutrients. So B12, iodine, omega-3s, and vitamin D. These are the 4 nutrients that I highly recommend supplementing.
Okay.
And they're the 4 nutrients that research has shown are the most difficult to obtain on a plant-based diet.
So when we talk, we're in this series, we've talked about nutrients and health throughout all the episodes, and you know, you've said that, you know, eat. We're designed to eat food and not have to worry about, you know, iron, calcium. But these are actually 4 that, as a human species now, we need to be aware of.
Yeah, and that's not a question of our diet. That's just a question of modern farming practices.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. If we were just naturally eating from the ground and doing everything without pesticides, sanitisation stuff, and not over farming, we wouldn't have these issues, and it'll be absolutely fine.
Okay, cool. And what I've got here with me is a smoothie booster. Now, Dr. Andrew Little has actually designed this himself. Now, Dr. Andrew is not a salesman, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his story on why he's actually designed this. But I quickly wanted to show you what it looks like. This is actually a food. So all us guys at Gardener Vegan take this. I just want you to check this out if you guys can see this. It's literally a food, isn't it?
It's 99% food with a small amount of B12, like 1% of B12 in it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And with this supplement, before we go into your story, which we'll go into in a second, with this booster, does this give you, if you take this on a daily basis, does this cover those 4 nutrients?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I designed it for.
Okay,
so I think, you know, given my exposure to the vegan community and my personal experience in medicine, I noticed 2 commonalities, and that was the need for a B12 supplement, and also the desire to end animal suffering. And this sparked the idea of Be Humane, and I thought, what a great way to do something amazing for the animals, because we donate a percentage of our profits to Edgar's Mission. We've currently partnered with Edgar's Mission.
Excellent.
And we'd like to extend that into other farm animal sanctuaries as well. But it was designed to give you all the nutrition you need in just 1 teaspoon. So I found that what I was throwing into my smoothie was a very small amount of kelp just to get my iodine. I was throwing in a whole heap of flaxseed to get my omegas, and I was taking a B12 supplement as well. And vitamin D, well, I realised after looking at the research, vitamin D is not an essential nutrient, so it doesn't need to be taken in through our diet, but it is important to maintain your vitamin D levels and just be wary of them. So we added that as well. And now 99% of this is just food. So it's iodine from organic kelp, it's flax seeds from, it's omega-3s from organic flax seeds, it's vitamin D from lichen, and it's fortified with a very small amount of B12. Now, people wonder what lichen is. Well, it's just, it's called reindeer moss. It's just the moss that grows on rocks and things, and it produces a lot of vitamin D to protect it from the sun. So it's the only vegan version of vitamin D3. So,
yeah, wow. And I think this is something, as we said in our last episode, that it's not only for vegans, because as you said, a lot of these deficiencies or low amounts, or something that we need to take as a whole, as Australians, as a community, is that when we see a lot of these deficiencies, it's not vegans, it's not just vegans, it's people that are eating any kind of diet. And I guess us at Gardener Vegan, we want to, we want people to eat our food, but we also don't want to be irresponsible and say, just eat our food and you're going to get everything you need and you don't need anything else for the rest of your life, just our food. You know, we want to be responsible and educate people that, you know, there's something else like this that can be accompanied with our food, or any food, whether you're eating our food or not, this can be accompanied with their diet to make sure they're keeping on top of all their essential nutrients.
Yeah, you're getting everything you need, and you don't even have to worry. I throw a tablespoon in my smoothie every morning, and I get everything I need. And then what do I think about for the rest of the day? Just eat as much plants as I can.
You're not even worried about
I'm not thinking about calcium. I'm not thinking about iron. I'm not thinking about anything else. My B12 is accounted for, and I don't even get my bloods done. I got so sick of stabbing myself with a needle and taking my bloods. I was just like, oh, it's always fine. And I've never felt better.
Excellent. And what's your website on here, just for everyone to know?
So www.behumane.com.au.
So www.behumane.com.au. You can check these guys out. And as a doctor, you've probably seen our new menu, and I know you actually eat a lot of our food anyway.
I do.
But would you recommend our food as well?
Oh, mate, I've recommended it from the start.
Yep.
And when you first told me about this idea, I just thought, what a wonderful idea.
Yep.
And what Gardener Vegan really does is it provides a means for people to start making that transition.
Yep.
Even if you don't have to be vegan or vegetarian, you can be an avid carnivore and still just go, I'm going to start making a few changes to benefit the planet or benefit my health or benefit the animals. You know, there's so many good reasons to start that transition. And Gardener Vegan provides that for people because you guys make delicious food, and I'm not just saying this. I eat it. You know I do. I order it.
You do.
And it's absolutely delicious. And it provides a way for people to start going, well, you know, people go, what do I cook? I don't even know what. People always say to me, what do you eat?
Yeah.
And I say, well, I literally just eat like 5 or 6 things less than you. I just don't eat, you know, beef, lamb, chicken, or whatever, or dairy. But there's so many things to eat, and Gardener Vegan really sort of are about that. You know, I love where you get your food from. You get it from you know, beautiful organic produce that's locally sourced, which is fantastic. That from an environmental perspective as well, and from a nutrition perspective, you guys have got plenty of food in there, and it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Great, and we really hope you guys enjoyed this final series. And if there's anything else that you'd like Dr. Andrew and I to talk about, shoot us a direct message, and we would love to shoot another series with another whole heap of questions we can answer. Actually, you know what would actually be another good idea if maybe you and I get on and do a live one day.
Mate, let's do it. Let's get on here. Invite me back. There's so much to talk about.
There is. There's too much to talk about.
There is so much to talk about. But like I said, I just want to make things simple for people. It's so complicated. In a world where we've just complicated everything, it's so simple. Just eat some food, eat plants.
And enjoy your life.
And
be as less destructive as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed it, and we look forward to coming back to you guys really soon.